Hello, hello, beautiful people. I hope you're having a good Tuesday. Tuesday. Yeah, it's Tuesday. I get my days mixed up. I guess it is a good Tuesday, as the title of the stream shows. And I'm sure, as you all know, Ross is free. And that's a wonderful bit of news. Of course, it should have been done a lot earlier. Um, but, you know, they say better late than never, but I'm sure we probably would have just preferred that it would have been done a lot sooner. However, I'm not mad that it was not on day one. I understand that President Trump has a lot of things to undo because that last 4 years was just an absolute dumpster fire, and I don't blame him. Unfortunately, it was a day late. Uh, but yeah, he's free, and that's a fight that's over. Let's hope he can get out, get all his uh, ducks in a row, and continue his life. It's just been an absolute travesty that he's had to face being in there to begin with. But that is the biggest, um, uh, I guess, biggest act Trump could have done that is on the libertarian agenda. Um, and some libertarians are still sour that it wasn't on day one, but he's free now. He's free. Just a little over 24 hours of his swearing in. Yeah, I don't think that we should have been able to expect he swore in and then just grabs a mic and says, "I pardon Ross." I feel like some people really expected that. Um, that's not realistic. There's a lot of unfucking. I'm sorry, I'm on YouTube too. I'm probably gonna get strike. Oh well. There's a lot of uneffing he's had to do and has to do still to this day and coming days. Undo a lot of stuff. Um, so I'm not mad. I know he said he was going to commute his sentence on day one, but since it is a day late, he gave him a full and unconditional pardon. So really, I think that's better. Yes, a day late, but a full and unconditional pardon is a wonderful thing. And I really hope Ross is reunited with his mother soon. I personally have never met her. I've heard many have, and that she's a very sweet lady. And I'm very happy her son's going to be coming home to her soon. So, that being said, um, let's see. Trump had a whole stack of executive orders to sign on day one. Yes, he did go right to work. He went to work right away, and I guess with the fact that it was basically weekend at Bernie's the last 4 years, I guess we should appreciate that. We should. I'm not saying we shouldn't ask too much, but we should definitely be thankful that he did go straight to work, um, because we don't know who's actually running the country the last 4 years. Since we know that the senile in chief the last 4 years was just kind of an empty shell. It was really sad. It was a lot of elder abuse, in my opinion. But Trump is at least coherent. He's coherent and he'll actually talk to the press. So that's going to be unusual. I've kind of gotten used to a president that kind of hides and doesn't do any kind of press conferences or anything. So let's see here. Good to see y'all. Yes, Snowden's pardon would be a wonderful thing. Oh, don't know what I did. All right. Yeah, I'm really hoping for Snowden's pardon. I've been wanting Snowden's pardon for some time, because honestly, he really didn't do anything wrong. He just exposed the government doing things wrong, and of course, they don't like to be shown that they're doing anything wrong. They got caught with their hand in the cookie jar, and the government's not going to give themselves a slap on the wrist. In fact, they didn't even stop. They didn't stop. The Twitter files have shown that they not only didn't stop, they in a way, double down. And the lack of outrage is not only deafening, but it really even says a lot. There's no reason we shouldn't be um, as or not as outrageous as we should be, because Snowden did us a favor. I really feel like he did us a favor. Hail to the chat. Hi. Yes, free Dexter Taylor. Yes. And it's a state matter. I'm aware of that. Yes, free Dexter Taylor. But unfortunately for Dexter Taylor, he's from New York, lives in New York, and New York is a bit blue. So unfortunately, I don't see that happening. Maybe some pressure put on the governor to free him, but they have bass-backwards laws regarding guns in New York. But Dexter Taylor did nothing wrong. He legit did nothing wrong, and maybe the governor of New York can have a change of heart, learn that, that we have some things called like the Second Amendment, and what Dexter was doing was not, it wasn't anything that he should have gotten these kind of consequences for at all. So let's see here. I actually have my water this time. Lovely. All right. So on a personal note, as I was getting ready to go live, I broke a nail. I broke a nail. So I have an excuse to go to the salon. My little claw. Yeah. Anyway. Oh well. Yeah, Kathy Hochul. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name right. Don't really care. I don't. But maybe it'll be like the kind of Grinch thing. Maybe she'll see like how, firearms and everything else that Dexter was doing was just not bad. He was being a good man. He's a very law-abiding citizen. Maybe she'll just like the Grinch, just like her heart will just grow 3 sizes bigger. Or her patriotism will grow 3 sizes larger with the American flag. And maybe she'll hear eagle. And she'll just be like, you know what? That man did not do anything wrong. In fact, he was a good law-abiding patriot, just taking advantage of his Second Amendment rights. Let's free him. Yeah, we can wish. We know that the party of love and tolerance is the most closed-minded. As much as they say they're open-minded, they're not very open-minded. We all know that. And that's why I had to make this podcast to begin with, because that side is not very open-minded. They're not really open to people of differing opinions, especially people that they think look like should be one of them, but aren't. Yeah, the looks I got yesterday wearing my to fight for liberty is to court death shirt with Trump on it. It was pretty funny. But yeah, I had a lot of old people just looking at me like, at first they're just like, then they just kind of like, and they just keep walking. Like, this purple haired girl has a Trump shirt on. Well, I will admit I did vote for the man, because I felt like he was actually going to give libertarians a seat at the table, and I'm not mad at him for being a day late on Ross, like many are. And honestly, libertarians are just going to bitch and moan. No one hates libertarians more than other libertarians. And yeah, right now, I just hate so many libertarians right now. But it's just like one big pile of just like bickering, just autists. And it's fine. If you are among them, it's just like siblings, I guess. I just right now can't stand so many libertarians. They're going to be hateful and like sour regardless. Now Ross is free. and they're still gonna be mad that it wasn't on day one. He broke his promise, and then they're gonna stick to that, saying he broke his promise because it wasn't on day one. So there's gonna be those that are still gonna bitch and moan, and then there's gonna be those that are like, okay, he's free, wonderful, like he kept his promise. So there's gonna be like the whole he broke his promise because it wasn't on day one, and there's gonna be the ones that are he kept his promise because Ross is free. So I'm in the boat where he kept his promise because Ross is free. Because you got to be realistic. You know, the guy just swore in. Do you know how much BS he had to do and undo? The stack that man had. I'm surprised he doesn't have hand cramps, or he might have hand cramps at this point, as many times as he's had to sign his name on all these executive orders. And executive orders themselves are, and I've said this before, they're a double-edged sword. Definitely. Because it is like an ultimate power, the swipe of a pen. And the idea of anybody having that sort of power is frightening. It really is. But it can do a lot of good too, especially if you have big government and then you have a president. Now, I'm not saying this is Trump particularly, but if you have a president, they can definitely undo a lot of the bad that the big government is doing. Now, Trump himself has pulled out of the Paris Climate Accords, which I think is wonderful. I think we're getting too involved in things that are overseas and something like that just kind of sucks up our money. We don't need to be in it. We really don't. I don't know what benefit we had being a part of the Paris Climate Accords. I really don't. There was nothing that benefited us. If anything, it just hurt us because it's just going to drain all our tax dollars. There's nothing that we are doing at all, or that we weren't doing already even, that was causing even more of an impact. Because the biggest polluters, at least two of the biggest polluters on the planet, are China and India. And they're not a part of it. If anybody needs to be part of any kind of environmental anything, it would be China and India. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. I really don't. But he's also done a lot of things like he revoked the security clearances of the 51 intel agents that signed off on the Hunter Biden laptop as Russian disinformation. And I was very pumped about that one because I'm not a fan of feds, as you know. Look at my name right there. See that first name? Yeah, I don't think any of us are a fan of feds, and that's all intel agents are. And so these were particularly crooked ones. Definitely signing off on something that they knew was true, or they knew, or they were just leaning a certain way and signing off on something for partisan reasons, which is extremely corrupt. It is going against their job in the first place. You would think, and you would want your intel agents to be honest, truthful, because the truth is what they're supposed to, run on, but we know they all don't do that. So yeah, revoking their security clearances was a great move. Some people think that it was targeted. Some people think that it was definitely an attack, just like a partisan attack. But, once you really look at it, they lied on something for partisan reasons, regardless of who was in office. Revoking their security clearances was the right thing to do. You don't lie in that sort of position. You don't show partisanship on a position like that whenever there is factual evidence of something being true or not. And not only was it not Russian disinformation, but they were calling it specifically Russian disinformation. It was an actual, laptop that was full of extremely incriminating things. And yeah. So anyway, so Trump did that. Let me see if I can pull up a list of all, or at least a bunch of his let's see, his executive orders, and we can discuss those, because he has gone to work like right away. And I do appreciate that. Because if I'm going to be paying taxes to anybody to be working or doing anything, work, get to work. And that's actually one thing he did do as well. He is sending, he's sending those bureaucrats back to work. And that, I think, is like, if we're paying you, go to work. Like, what are you doing? I honestly think Elon Musk had some sort of influence on that, because I know for a fact that Elon is not a fan of work at home. He's definitely a fan of people going into work. If you're going to work, you go into work. So uh, I'm sure there's a lot of angry bureaucrats and feds that are just seething that they can't work in their pajamas anymore, have their dogs in their laps all day, and just work from home. There's some jobs that are work from home, and that's fine. I've worked from home myself, but you get lazy. You just do. Like, you're working for the people. If you are working for the government, you're working for the people, and you don't need to be sitting on your tail, you know, in your pajamas, just working at home, just being lazy, because everyone ends up just taking shortcuts and not doing the best work when they work at home. Not everybody. Not everybody. I'm sure there are some people that do great work at home, but if you work for the government, that is not a position that I think you should be working at home. At least not permanently. If you're checking emails at home and such, because you're sick, whatever. But, the exceptions are not the rules. Okay. So, Marco Rubio also got sworn in too. Little Marco. So I wonder if there's going to be foam parties at the White House now that he's Secretary of State. Wouldn't that be lit? That'd be awesome. That'd be like, some awesome Florida foam parties in the West Wing. That'd be cool. So, little Marco foam parties in the White House now that he's sworn in. All right. So, looking at these lists here, I'm on whitehouse.gov. I don't know how to pull it up yet on here. Let's see. Oh, covering my camera with my finger. Yeah, I'm on my iPad again. Because that is the only way I can stream right now. Let's see if we can pull up. I have no clue what this is. News layout. All right. We will play with that later. So I won't pull it up right now. But I will work on that so that I can pull up whitehouse.gov on the screen so you can all see what I'm looking at. All right. So on whitehouse.gov, there is a whole tab, or like on the first page, you go and it says executive orders. And then you scroll down a bit and it's got quite a bit of things, pages and pages. And I got to respect that. I really do hope these are all definitely in good favor. There are some things that I'm not really too thrilled about. I know Trump mentioned the government having a part of TikTok or owning a bit of TikTok. No, I'm sorry, boo-boo. That's not it. That's not it. I don't want the government to own any kind of social media platform. That is, like, granted, you can then sue if there's any sort of censorship, but there's a lot of information that people have and get whenever you have a social media platform. And that's not that they already have it, but it's not something that I'd want to for sure know what they're going to do. All right. John Fetterman is close to showing up for work in his pajamas. That is true. I would say that was very unbecoming of a senator. No, I'll flat out say it's unbecoming of a senator. I understand that he has certain issues physically. Um, there's ways around that. I feel like there's a certain decorum when it comes to um, that sort of job, and I think that showing up in sweats and hoodies for like federal government work or any kind of like government work is just unbecoming. It's just, I was not a fan. I was not a fan at all. Um, Now, I'm not saying necessarily he has to wear a tie because I know I think some of the issues like something like on his back or something. He could have just like worn like a button up blazer, but he wants to wear his hoodie. Like I'm wearing a hoodie right now, but like I'm on a podcast. I'm not, or a live stream, whatever you want to call it. Well, yeah. Anyway, so I digress. This is the most ADHD thing ever, by the way. All right, so scrolling through these executive orders. Let's see. There was one that surprised me. Protecting the United States from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. Is this the one with the drug cartels? That one is actually kind of scary. Let's see. All these around the world, Homeland Security, additional measures to protect the nation. I know that he declared the drug cartels. Doesn't look it's the one, but he declared the drug cartels to be terrorist organizations, and that's a scary one. Yeah. I won't go into that. We're not going to discuss that. But that's definitely it was definitely a ballsy move. All right. Let's see. Unleashing Alaska's extraordinary resource potential. I like this one. I think that we should use our resources. We importing all this oil, it gets expensive and adds to more government spending. And if we have the resources, why don't we use them? I think it makes common sense. But to a lot of environmentalists, they'd rather just import it or like buy it or whatever. But yes, you keep your forests and such safe and clean, but it's still got to be drilled somewhere. So somebody's not getting a clean forest or clean whatever. You're just moving the problem elsewhere if that's what your issue is. And it's very hypocritical. And then it ends up just being more expensive. And then you become a lot more reliant on a foreign nation by doing that. So, yeah, drill, baby, drill. If we have it, we need to use it. That's definitely something that I'm pro for. I really like that he's all about that. And then I know Biden, right before he got out, he's wanting to I believe it was ban the drilling that is in the Gulf of America. Yeah. Ooh, I dropped that one. The Gulf of America. And that was something that I believe that Trump undid almost right away. Okay, let's scroll through some of these. Declared a national energy emergency. I don't know how true that one would be. Just if I'm just gonna, just as an outsider, just as a citizen, just not knowing all the facts on that one. If I'm looking at the gas prices, I don't really see that they're out of like that they're absolutely out of control. Or at least here in Texas, it's like I believe it's like $2.53 last place I drove by. This isn't too bad. I don't think it's too bad. Like, it's not great. It's not great. Like, when I was in high school, it was like $1 maybe. But I'm so old that, like, I don't know. That was back in like 2003, 2004. So my geriatric tale. remembers what it was. $2.75 in Georgia. Wow. Well, that's why you need a Costco membership. Get a Costco membership. It's a lot less. $2.53 was not a Costco price. That was, I believe, like a Murphy's or something. I don't look that old. Well, I am. Um, I'm class of 2005. Thank you. That is very sweet of you to say. Yeah, I'm actually a lot older than I look. All right. So moving on. Let's see. Restoring delivery. Yes. All right. Securing our borders. Border security. That is a hot topic among libertarians. Oh, wait, we got a 319 in Ohio. Wow. That's no fun. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's like over 60 cents cheaper here in Texas. And yeah, Costco. Oh yeah. 289, 275 at Costco. Costco is the GOAT. I swear, Costco is the best. Um, I prefer to get my gas at Costco. I will even drive on empty. Oh, that's an alarm. I will even drive on empty just to get to a Costco. Because I don't know. I'm obsessed with Costco. Okay, so getting distracted on this again. All right, so this one is hilarious. It's funny and it's sad at the same time. This executive order. Um, the title. The title is a bit snarky. If you know the chess that Trump plays, and regardless of how you feel about the guy is hilarious. He's got good quips. He is a smart guy. The title of this one is definitely a little dig, and I laughed out loud when I saw it first. Putting people over fish. Stopping radical environmentalism to provide water to Southern California. As we all know, the Delta smelt. But Delta smelt's doing wonderful. California quite isn't, though. I haven't seen any updates on the fires. I'm sure they're still raging, unfortunately. I really hope that those can get under control. My thoughts are with the innocent people there. But Trump, says within 90 days of the date of this memorandum, the Secretary of Commerce and the Secretary of the Interior shall report to me regarding the progress made in implementing the policies in this memorandum and provide any recommendations regarding future implementation. So that's a 90-day deadline on this. And he's directing the Secretary of Commerce and Secretary of the Interior, in consultation with the heads of other departments and agencies of the United States as necessary, to immediately restart the work from his first administration by the National Marine Fisheries Service, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, Bureau of Reclamation, and other agencies to route more water from the Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta to other parts of the state for use by the people there who desperately need a reliable water supply. That's a good move. People should not be in the kind of position they were in. The government put them in that by putting in those regulations that has starved Southern California of their water. That's something that I'm cool with. The way I see it is that I'm all about states' rights. Don't get me wrong. The state completely over the federal. However, the state went out of control on this one and deprived the people of water, did legit harm to their own people over a fish. And calling out that huge mistake, I think was a great move, because if we're going to be honest here, the government should be serving the people and denying them water is not service. So good move on that. Good move on that. All right. Let's see. Looking at some of these, some that might hold or might stand out here. I don't see anything but the Kennedy thing. I'm not sure if that'd be executive order or not. I believe he did one about over classification, or he was going to do one about over classification. That is what I'm excited about. I'm pretty excited about the Kennedy files, because that is probably one of the biggest examples of the Fed just being evil. Because we all know it. We all know that who really did it, but we don't have a lot of the details. I know Alex Jones recently did an episode where I can't remember the name, but a couple guys on tape discussing that uh, LBJ had Kennedy killed. So I guess we'll see more of that. I really think that he will try to release it. I hope so. He's got RFK in his crew. Hopefully he can get some clarification on what happened to his family, especially his father, because he deserves to know for sure. All right, so let's scroll here. Granting pardons and commutation of sentences for certain offenses relating to the events at or near the United States Capitol on January 6th. All right, so this one was pretty good. I don't know. Most of you might know Lectern Leader. Great dude, absolutely hilarious. Like wonderful follower. Follow. So if you don't follow the Lectern Leader, follow the Lectern Leader. He's a very nice guy. Very funny, very smart, and he received a pardon from this. He is actually the one that has that iconic photo of him holding the lectern, smiling with like the beanie. Really good dude. And finally, he has received a pardon for moving a lectern a few feet. That the crime of picking up a lectern, smiling, waving, and carrying it 6-7 feet just further, and then putting it down. He didn't take it. He didn't steal it. That lectern did not go home with him. It's still there in the Capitol. But he got charged as if he did steal it. Yeah, he got a pardon. It's wonderful. I don't personally know anybody else who was there on January 6th. There is a little list here that he names to commute the sentences for let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, about 14 people. And then he granted a full and complete unconditional pardon to all other individuals. So these 14 people only got their sentences commuted, and everyone else got just about almost everybody else got a full and unconditional pardon. From what I've seen, I haven't seen anything to prove, but from what I've seen, that there are some, I guess, marshals or whatnot that are refusing to let them out despite the pardon. And hopefully they've let them out by now, because that you get a pardon, you're out. I'm sure you get out process, get your stuff and whatever. But if that's really going on to try to keep them locked up, despite getting a pardon, then I really hope that they feel the full extent of the law. Because at that point, it's almost like kidnapping. You're holding them and they got a pardon and refusing to let them go. Be wonderful to sue them. Sue your captors in that, if you're in that position. Yeah, here it is. Return to in-person work that I was talking about earlier. Heads of all departments and agencies in the executive branch of government shall, as soon as practicable, take all necessary steps to terminate remote work arrangements and require employees to return to work in person at their respective duty stations on a full-time basis, provided that the department and agency heads shall make exemptions they deem necessary. This memorandum shall be implemented consistent with applicable law. Yeah. Get your tails back to work. We don't pay you to sit in your pajamas and pet your dog all day. That would be wonderful, though. I would love that job. But you're working for the people. Go to work. All right. As a libertarian, this one's wonderful. Not even just as a libertarian, as an American, this one is wonderful. Ending the weaponization of the federal government. That should be a no-brainer. The government should not be weaponized, obviously. It is, though. And not only was it weaponized against Trump, we all saw. And honestly, a lot of libertarians were just kind of cheering him on, like, almost like, you make me almost want to like the guy when you saw his mugshot. Let's see here. Anything that strikes. So yeah, any representative government. Now, Section 3 says the Attorney General, in consultation with the heads of all departments and agencies of the United States, shall take appropriate action to review the activities of all departments and agencies exercising civil or criminal enforcement authority of the United States, including, but not limited to, the Department of Justice, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and the Federal Trade Commission over the last 4 years, and identify any instances where a department's or agency's conduct appears to have been contrary to the purposes and policies of this order, and prepare a report to be submitted to the President through the Deputy Chief of Staff for policy and the Council to the President with recommendations for appropriate remedial actions to be taken to fulfill the purposes and policies of this order. All right. As well as the Director of National Intelligence and consultation with the heads of appropriate departments. Anyway, take appropriate action to review the activities of the intelligence community over the last 4 years. Honestly, I wish you'd go back further than 4 years. Like, I appreciate it that he's having them review the last 4 years and any kind of weaponization of the federal government against just anybody. But I really think that this stems a lot further back. And I really feel like 4 years isn't enough. That would be my biggest critique of that. We need to have the government take accountability for themselves. You know, that's like having the government take accountability for themselves is like telling a preteen, what do you think your punishment should be? You know, what's a preteen going to say? Oh, I'm just grounded for like a week. Whenever the punishment does not fit the crime. There's no way the government is really going to do any proper checks and balances of themselves. They're too busy pretending to fight each other and kowtowing to their lobbyists. Okay. So I'm at the very beginning of the acting cabinet and such. All right. Let's see here. Any other ones that stand out? I know that he signed over 200 things, I believe. And this is only 5 pages of presidential actions. I don't know if it's just not all of them listed yet, or if they will list them all. But there was a lot he signed. So like I said, he got right to work, and I do appreciate that. It did take him over 24 hours to free Ross, but I'm not mad. I'm not mad. He gave him the full unconditional pardon instead of commuting his sentence. And it, that's what this whole stream is about. It's about Ross. Going back to it, and I know I was reviewing some of what Trump has done since he swore in, all the executive actions, and I guess in a way critiquing them. But back to Ross. His punishment did not fit the crime. However, there had to have been a crime committed, and there really wasn't. He created a website, and that's it. He created a website. By convicting him for what the users did on that website, when he had no part in it besides just owning and the website, making the website, by having him in prison, I believe it's 4 life sentences plus 40 years, then that means that he is liable for what other people do, the crimes of others. And that is not only injustice. If that is going to be your standard for anybody who has a website, then Zuckerberg should be in jail. There is, or at least I don't know the status, but there definitely is or was word of a lot of cheese pizza all over Instagram. A lot of degenerates on Instagram and using meta services that have not been shut down, have not been in any way banned. So if we're going to start jailing and judging the website creators and owners for what the users do, then why is it Mark Zuckerberg in jail? He's aiding and abetting these people to share this degeneracy and crimes against children, like through his platform. He may not be doing it himself, but they're doing it on his platform. That means he should be facing consequences, right? You know, the whole thing kind of just goes down to the government just didn't like what was going on, because it was a real free market on there. Yes, there were some terrible things, but that wasn't really anything to do with him. He just made the website, right? What people chose to do with it, it's not his control. And that's where some people don't understand. Advocating for things like free speech does not mean you condone the said free speech. I've lost friends before because I've refused to censor people in groups that I've administrated, even regardless if I condone the speech or not. I say no, I'm not going to take down their post. It's like I do believe in freedom of speech. You might think it's what they said is not tasteful. I agree, it's not tasteful, but I'm not taking it down, regardless if it hurts your feelings or somebody else's feelings. Grow up. The world's hard, tough. But these days, people like to live more over their emotions, unfortunately. Hopefully that's changing. Hopefully, logic is back. Let's hope that truth is back. Now, the fact that Trump freed Ross, hopefully that means that libertarians really do truly have a seat at the table with Trump. With word of Ron Paul advising Doge, that is definitely something that I'm looking forward to, because we all know the Pauls, both Ron and Rand, um, they're really good about uh, discussing waste, bringing up waste, and I'm looking forward to Doge. That's what I said whenever I posted my shirt yesterday. I'm rooting for Doge. I'm definitely rooting for Doge. We need to cut the spending, get inflation down. It's expensive to do anything these days. Um, and you know, some people say you need to, live within your means. No, I want to keep doing and living how I live. I just want to be able to afford it again. Not changing how I lived at all. But everything has just got more expensive. The money's practically worthless. We do need our own Javier Milei, though. The best we got right now is Donald Trump. So far, he's going all right. I don't have any major critiques. Nothing major from what I know. If I'm missing something, please let me know. Nothing major to critique him on at this time. But I do wish we had our own Javier Milei. Argentina seems to be doing pretty good at this time. And I do hope that, people will start opening their eyes to like the libertarian way of like cutting a lot of bureaucracy out and decreasing spending. And yeah. Yeah, we didn't expand any new wars under Trump's first run. Yeah, that's probably my favorite thing about his first term is that there were no new wars. He wasn't exactly Mr. Peace. He did take out the was it Soleimani, I believe, the Iranian general. He did take him out, and some people were pretty nervous about that, as well as talking crap with North Korea, which scared a lot of people. But it ended up working out. He ended up going to North Korea, shaking hands with Kim Jong Il and or Kim Jong Un. Yeah, it's Un now. Yeah, the Cabbage Patch headed boy with the little like Three Stooges haircut. Yeah, and he found missiles at Syria. So yeah, he wasn't exactly. I wouldn't say he was 100% peaceful. But there were no new wars. Yeah, he took on ISIS. Yeah, Soleimani. Yeah, and the Moab against the Taliban. Yeah, yeah. Walk softly, carry a big stick. That's actually one of my favorite things to live by. So that would be something good to look forward to, I believe. No new wars. Hopefully, by I what was it? The power of not conversation, the art of the deal. Yeah, that's what it is. So hopefully, with maybe something like the art of the deal, like how he knows how to negotiate with people. Hopefully he can help end these wars that our Congress is just adamant about funding. Hopefully they can end. It's just we're broke. We are broke. We have spent ourselves into almost collapse. When you really think about it, that trying to recover from this kind of debt is going to be like absolute hell. So, I do think if I'm judging by his first term, I think that he does great with foreign policy. I think he actually has a good how do I say this? I think he's really good at talking to people. I think he's really good at talking to leaders, to other powerful people, because he's used to being a powerful guy. So I am at least hopeful on that he will talk with these other nations and end these wars, or convince them to end wars, so we can stop funding them, because Congress is adamant about it. And I don't want to fund these wars anymore. They're not ours. They're not our business. There's no reason that my tax dollars, which, is theft to begin with, is going overseas. There's no reason at all. None. We have our own issues here. If my money's going to be stolen from me by the government, why don't we help our own? But we're not. Yeah, this is probably the best. I'm just gonna leave this on the screen. This is wonderful. The Fed, honestly, like they say, the love of money is the root of all evil. The Fed is the root of all evil. The Fed really is the root of all evil, and a lot of people don't really understand how it is. They control the interest rates. They control like so much more. I've seen. There's a video I've seen come across my timeline multiple times within the past like week or so about the sinking of the Titanic and what the Titanic had to do with the Federal Reserve. And that was pretty interesting. I've heard it before. And the video's going around. If anybody has a video, feel free to tag me in it so I can bookmark it, because I really want to keep it. About how there was John Jacob Astor, who was like one of the richest people in America at the time. And I can't remember the other. There was, I believe, three rich guys in total that were on the Titanic. I believe, was it Strauss? I believe too. And they were against the formation of the Federal Reserve. And the Titanic goes down. In a way, it kind of makes sense, because, you're in iceberg infested waters. You're warned about iceberg activity, and then you just speed through it. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So if anybody sees that video, feel free to tag me. I would love to bookmark it, maybe save it for my own references, because that was very interesting. I was actually a history major in college. I love history. Yeah, it was fascinating, and it was enraging at the same time, because that's how evil the Fed is. Even the formation of it was just starting out by killing people to do it. No. Yeah, Astor. I wouldn't say Astor was a wonderful person, but he he had some based sort of views here and there. Definitely the one against Federal Reserve, though. That is probably his best one. And then yeah, so he was sunk with the Titanic. Could you believe if they were put on lifeboats, what could have happened if they could have stopped the Federal Reserve from being formed? That would be a great alternate history. I think we would be a lot more prosperous of a nation if the Federal Reserve was not was never put in place. It's really done nothing but just wreck us so much. Anyway, so I have digressed so much. But this is a really great fun chat. I love doing this. Yeah, snub the Rothschilds. Yeah, that's definitely a name that comes up a lot. The Rothschilds. Oh, what a family. And now, like, one of the worst ones is the Soros family. Yeah. Yeah, and then Bernie Sanders today, and actually the last few days or whatever, since Biden had his speech, has been talking about oligarchs. Oligarchs. Do you believe in the oligarchs? Dude, you play with the oligarchs, man. Like, comrade, hush. Just sit this one out. sit this one out with your little mittens, okay? Because you gave money to the oligarchs. You know, you caved into the oligarchs, the Clintons, the Clinton family. Yeah, no. Go to one of your 3 houses and just sit down, cross your legs, put your mittens on, and just sit it out. Sit it out, Bernie. You're not going to win this one. That is the most hypocritical stance to try to talk about oligarchs. Whenever he created a movement, although it's not like something that I necessarily even agree with any of his positions, because he's an old communist, and communism is the worst. And then he gets all this money from these kids that finally get excited in politics. They're all pumped up. Bernie Bros. There's even kids with tattoos. Not like kids, but like there's even like people that got tattoos of Bernie with like the little hair and like the glasses. And then what's he do? Hillary basically just like boots him out. No. He had the momentum that Hillary wished she had. And he gave the money to her. And if you don't think the Clintons are oligarchs, then you've got your head buried in the sand. He cowed to one of the biggest oligarchs in the nation. And now he wants to try to lecture people about oligarchs. Somebody needs to give him his butterscotch pudding and put him to bed. He's getting kind of old. He's not remembering all that he has done and the people he's played with. Although I will say, back in 2016, after he, I guess, gave up his momentum for Hillary to swoop in, he did look like he was about to cry at almost every instance. I felt bad for the guy, but you know, well, we really don't know if they threatened him. You know, they're the Clintons. Yeah, the corporate fascists. Yeah, some. You know, I've heard it said that every war is a banker war now. Wars used to be fought for land, for resources. Now they're all banker wars, and sometimes the same is funding both sides. It's absolutely insane. They're all banker wars. Yeah, communism seems every proletariat hitting the launch buttons at the same time. Yeah. This right, they don't need it anymore. Yeah, so that meme of throwing the person out of the moving car, that's basically what the party did to Bernie. And the poor old guy, the poor comrade, he's still just fights tooth and nail to really try to keep up with him, to really try to be part of him. But you know that they know he's an old communist. They're a bunch of communists too, but he's a direct communist. You know, like he honeymooned in like the Soviet Union and everything. But he had the momentum that none of them have ever had, and then he handed it over. Yeah, I because of that, I don't really have any respect for Bernie Sanders. You know, I could respect the fact that he started the movement that he did, regardless if I agreed with it. But he handed over. He betrayed his whole camp. So he's an absolute sellout. I have no respect for the man whatsoever. So yeah, he does talk like a communist. Yes, in all actuality, he is a millionaire corporate fascist. But I think he really wants to see himself more as a communist. It really seems like it. yeah, I I can go into a whole thing about Bernie Sanders. I feel bad for the guy, just like I feel bad for Biden. But there's a lot of elder abuse with Biden, and Biden is like really not there. He's checked out, absolutely checked out. Bernie still somewhat coherent, but yeah, unfortunately, he's not really that all that. Well, I guess in a way, he's not really that coherent anymore. He just kind of blabbing. Do you believe in the oligarchs? Do you believe America is run by the oligarchs? And then he's just talking about like how you have the three richest men in America sitting behind you, and the yeah. Shut up. Just shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Sit this one out. Sit it out. Sit down. Sit down. All right. So we are coming up on 1 hour here. Let's see. It is currently 10:19 p.m. here, Central Standard Time. All right. Well, we really did. A lot of that funding really was paid to the oligarchs. Yeah. Well, yeah, he wasn't lying. Yeah. In terms of our country oligarchs, we have I believe we have more of political oligarchs than we have anything else. Um, because if Elon Musk was really this powerful oligarch, I don't think people would really be talking the kind of crap they are, especially after, you know, his heart went out to everybody, if you know what I mean. And then they try to, the whole smear campaign right now against him. Um, it, the true oligarchs are the ones that you really can't talk about because they're so powerful. You can't talk about them. Well, you can, but the mainstream media isn't and won't. Like the Clintons, the Obamas, those are oligarchs. Those are definitely the political oligarchs. Um, so yeah, just because Elon Musk is rich doesn't mean he's an oligarch. That's Bernie doesn't understand that that's not necessarily what makes someone an oligarch. Oligarch is power. Money is power, yes, but I don't think anyone's really afraid of Elon Musk. Like, he seems like the sweetest person ever. I don't think anybody is afraid of him like they would be afraid of uh, Hillary Clinton. I sure as hell am not. Like, if I crossed Hillary Clinton, I would be saying every 5 minutes that I am of sound mind and body. But if I cross Elon Musk, no, no. Uh, well, I disagree with that. I believe the Clintons and Obamas are oligarchs. Yes, there's some puppetness to them. They do have some puppet aspects, but they're pretty powerful on their own. Um, Pelosi, uh, Pelosi. Yeah, I always forget every Sunday that I want to do Good Morning Sunday morning. What was it? I think it was like a Friday. She did that on an interview. All right. Yeah, in a way, I think in a way it is. But that's what makes it so great. I love that about him, honestly. Uh, I was an old school troll. I really respect the troll hustle. um, so I love that. That's probably like one of my favorite things about Elon Musk. All right, so I think we'll wrap it up with celebration that um, Ross is free. He kept his promise and freed Ross. Didn't do it on day one, I know, but he freed him. He did it. Um, Ross is free, and I say we should all say thank you, Donald Trump, for freeing Ross and ending that injustice that he endured, for being charged for other people's crimes. Um, yeah, I think we should also just thank you. Thank you for freeing Ross. That was a great move. Great move. I think there's still going to be libertarians who are not and will not really thank Trump or really give credit where credit's due because he didn't do it on day one. Um, and honestly, those are the most insufferable libertarians. But no one hates a libertarian more than other libertarians. So I think we're all just going to be complaining and moaning at each other for a while. Fighting, now that Ross is free, we'll be fighting about, oh, he didn't do it on day one like he promised. Like, oh, but he promised he'd free him and he freed him. It's going to be going back and forth. So I guess be prepared for that if you're in the libertarian camp, that it's going to go back and forth between that when it comes to Ross. But Ross is free. So that's all that really matters. What really matters is that Ross is free. We don't have to see how pure of a libertarian we are by judging Trump on how long it took him. That's uncalled for. Just say thank you. Okay? Because that's why nobody likes us. That's why nobody wants to vote libertarian and do anything. So just say thank you. Ross is free. Just say thank you. And maybe, our seat at the table with the Trump administration would be would be more solidified instead of always like yelling and complaining about things. Yeah, yeah, that's actually true. Today is the actual day one. I'm not sure if you would really consider yesterday as day one. It really was a half day. Because when we woke up yesterday, he was not the president. Yesterday was mostly about like ceremonies and moving in the White House and all of their junk. Yes, he did sign things yesterday because, Trump is a man that gets right to work. But yeah, today really is the actual day one, the first day of waking up with Trump as president. Yeah. So, looking at it that way, yes, he did do it on day one. He did free him on day one. So yeah, wonderful. That's definitely a good point to make. So yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to head out here. I gotta finish my protein shake. And yeah, I'm gonna go get my pajamas and watch some Harry Potter. I know. I'm a sad case. I'm a sad case. But I love me some Harry Potter movies. I don't care how old I am, how old they are. I'm gonna go watch Harry Potter now. All right. Y'all have a good night. Lead with kindness unless they don't deserve it. All right.